As Ray said, my name is Frank Ramirez. I'm an area supervisor. I've been with Neighborhood Services Department since 2014, and it is my pleasure to present to you the Code Compliance 101 presentation tonight. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I'll go ahead and get started. Code Compliance 101. I will provide an overview of how the code compliance process works to resolve code violations in your community, including how to identify violations, the steps and time involved in the process, what happens when a case goes to court, how to address code violations at vacant properties, resources available, ways to report blight, and how to get status updates on cases online. The code enforcement policy was put in place to promote the health, safety, and welfare of Phoenix residents, to protect neighborhoods from blighting and deteriorating conditions that have a negative impact on area property values and encourage social disorder and crime, shall be fairly, sensibly, and reasonably applied to promote the maintenance of all existing buildings and land in the city of Phoenix, and ensure that individuals and families do not suffer undue hardship. Preservation enforces on the following ordinances. City Code Chapter 39, Neighborhood Preservation Ordinance, pertains to the maintenance of properties and neighborhoods within the city. City Code Chapter 41, the Zoning Ordinance, pertains to the use of land within the city. City Code Chapter 10, Business / Mobile Vending Regulations, covers mobile vending on private property. There's also a section now that covers unpermitted short-term rentals. The City Code Chapter 8, Animal Ordinance, covers roosters, swine are prohibited, and there are regulations for keeping livestock and pigeons. Now I'll talk about the 8 common blight violations. These are the ones that are on a useful tool that the inspectors use, the green door hangers that they use to communicate with properties. They are graffiti, trash, litter, debris, vegetation, fences in disrepair, inoperable vehicles, outside storage, vehicles parked on non-dust proof surfaces, vacant and accessible structures. The first violation I'll talk about is graffiti. So all sidewalks, walls, buildings, fences, signs, and other structures or surfaces shall be kept free from graffiti when the graffiti is visible from the street, other public or private property. This photo shows an example of graffiti on a structure. Even though the photo, it looks like this is a nice, some people would consider this a nice, maybe a mural or something. It is a violation of graffiti. Property owners have a responsibility to keep graffitis free of graffiti. The city can provide people with paint, brushes, and paint sprayer training so that people can keep their properties and neighborhood graffiti free. There's actually a training workshop coming up this Saturday, March 2nd. If anyone is interested in registering or obtaining more information, please contact the customer service number at 602-534-4444 or the Neighborhood College web page for more information. Residents who are unable to remove graffiti from their property can contact the graffiti busters for assistance. Residents are also encouraged to report graffiti by using the Phoenix at Your Service website or by calling the customer service number, which is 602-534-4444. Please call 911 if you see graffiti vandalism in progress, as it is a crime. Next violation is for junk, litter, and debris. All land, including exterior premises and vacant land, whether improved or unimproved, shall be maintained free from any hazard or accumulation of garbage, debris, rubble, hazardous waste, litter, and rubbish. The photo shows an example of junk, litter, and debris at a property. In addition to the property owners are also responsible for maintaining half of the land abutting a sidewalk, alley, or easement, which is normally referred to as the right-of-way. Next violation is vegetation. All exterior property areas shall be free from dead trees and branches, dead palm fronds within 10 feet of the ground, a structure, a fence, or wall, grass and weeds higher than 6 inches, or dry vegetation which may likely become a fire hazard. In this photo is an example of overheight vegetation. The grass is over 6 inches tall. It is also dry, which is a fire hazard. Therefore, it would be a violation and would need to be removed and disposed of properly. The next violation is fences in disrepair. All fences, screen walls, and retaining walls on the premises shall be free, structurally sound, and uniform or compatible in color and structure. Examples of hazards, blight or conditions of disrepair include but are not limited to fences or walls that are leaning, missing slats or blocks that exhibit rot, damage, graffiti, peeling paint, or deterioration of paint or materials. Here, the photo shows an example of an unsound fence. Fencing must be constructed of like materials and structurally sound. This one shows missing slats, has mismatched materials, is not uniform in color, and is blighted in appearance. Next slide is for inoperable vehicles. Inoperable vehicle, a vehicle physically incapable of operation or a vehicle which exhibits one or more of the following conditions: wrecked, partially or fully dismantled, abandoned, stripped, substantially damaged, inoperative, scrapped, having the status of a hulk or shell, discarded, tires that cause the rim of the wheel to rest on the tire tread or the ground, rotted, deteriorated, or unable to hold air, or unable to be safely operated. In this photo, you'll see an example of an inoperable vehicle. The front passenger wheel is removed from the vehicle, making it unable to be safely operated. A property owner may, however, store one inoperable vehicle in the rear yard, screened as long as it is screened by a solid fence. Outside storage. So outside storage is any personal property that must be stored in the house or behind the house where it is not visible from beyond the boundaries of the property. Example of outdoor storage items would be any building or landscaping materials, any machinery, appliances, or parts, any inoperable vehicle visible from beyond the boundaries of the property, any personal property, including but not limited to any household goods, boxes, or furniture which is not placed for outdoor use, which is visible from beyond the boundaries of the property. In this photo, you'll see an example of an accumulation of personal items on the driveway, the front yard, and the patio near the front door, all of which are visible from the street and beyond the boundaries of the property. Non-dust proof parking. In the city of Phoenix, all vehicle parking, maneuvering, and accessing areas must be dust proof in accordance with city specifications. Property owners must park vehicles on concrete, asphalt, pavers, crushed rock, or gravel no smaller than 1/4 inch, not larger than 3/4 inch, maintained to a minimum depth of 2 inches, and contained with a permanent border that is secured to or embedded in the ground. In this photo, you'll see an example of vehicles that are parked on a non-dust proof surface. The two vehicles on the left are parked on a partial grass and dirt surface, which is a violation. The silver vehicle is okay because it is parked on the concrete driveway. Vacant and accessible structures. So any building or structure that has been vacant and unsecured for more than 48 hours on more than one occasion during a 12-month period would be a vacant and accessible structure. The photo shows an example of a vacant accessible home. You can see that 2 of the doors are breached, unsecured on the vacant home. Any openings on a vacant structure must be secured to city specifications. These types of properties are priority for the city due to the threat to the health and safety of the community they pose and liability issue. This is the standard code enforcement process. Basically, what happens from beginning to end, the resident makes a complaint. So a resident will make a complaint. The complaint is logged on the computer and given a case number. The case is assigned to the inspector. A pre-notification letter will be sent out within 48 hours as long as there's been no history on that property, meaning there's been no violations within the past 12 months. The pre-notification letter is it is a notice that basically states that a violation has been reported, not necessarily that there is a violation, but lets the owner or the occupant know that a violation has been reported at the property, and lets them know that an inspection will be conducted within 10 days. So an inspection will be conducted within 10 days. The inspector, if a violation is not found, they'll go ahead and close the case at that time. However, if a violation is found, a notice of violation will be issued. Normally, it's a 15-day notice of violation or a 35-day violation. At the expiration of the notice of violation, after the property is inspected, if the violation has been corrected, the case can be closed. If the violation has not been corrected, the inspector has the discretion to make contact with the owner and grant them additional time to correct the violation. They also have the discretion to go ahead and issue the citation, a civil citation to the owner or to the tenant, whichever applies in that case. If the violation has not been corrected, civil or criminal action may be, once the civil citation has been issued, if the violation is not corrected at that point, then the inspector would pursue to the next step of the enforcement process, which would be the abatement, contractual abatement process, or criminal court action, which is kind of like the last, the final actions basically with the city of Phoenix. The end results benefit the entire neighborhood as the violations are corrected and the property is brought into compliance. So I mentioned a little bit about the notices that are sent with 15 days and 35 days. So these are the standard notice of ordinance violations that are mailed out. The exceptions are for any kind of hazards. That would be a 0 to 24 hours notice of violation that's issued. That would be for something like an unsecured pool or an unsecured excavation. That would be a 0 to 24 hours NOV notice of violation that's issued. Graffiti notice of violations are 10 days. And then for anything that needs significant corrective action required, like a roof or a wall, something that may need bids, or say it's a large tree, something that the owner or an occupant would need more time, then a 35-day notice would be issued for that. Also, with any abatement, a 35-day is always 35-day NOV is always issued. So contractual abatements. Contractual abatement is another option for resolving violations of the neighborhood preservation ordinance. In order to exercise contractual abatement, a 35-day notice of ordinance violation must have expired with results that do not meet the minimum requirements for compliance. If the property is not brought into compliance, the city will abate the violations at the property, and a lien is placed for all costs incurred with the abatement. In this photos, you will see the top photo shows, it looks like there are windows missing on the property. In the bottom photos, it looks like the abatement has been done. This is video board up abatements. There's lot cleaning, board up, and demolitions. In this one, it looks like a board up has been completed. The contractor would have been out here and they would have went ahead and boarded up this property, boarded up the windows. Any unsecured areas of this structure would have been boarded to city specifications, and a lien would have been placed against the property. There's lot cleaning, board ups, and demolition. The city also does demolition for properties that are safety hazards, collapse potential. City also takes care of those properties as well through the abatement process. Municipal court process for civil. If a citation is issued, an arraignment is set 3 to 4 weeks out. An arraignment is the initial court appearance where the defendant enters a plea. A defendant also has an option to waive the arraignment and pay the full fine. If the defendant waives the arraignment and pays the full fine, the inspector will re-inspect the property to ensure the cited violations are in compliance. If not in compliance, another citation would be issued. Hearings are set at least 30 days after the arraignment. Sentencing would be approximately 30 to 90 days after the hearing. Since the COVID pandemic, the Phoenix Municipal Court has moved more towards a digital environment for our court cases. Our staff received training in May of 2022, and a significant amount of our court cases are now administered via a telephonic and digital evidence process, which has helped to streamline the court process. These are some statistics for our calendar year last year. So cases resolved were 38,155, properties that were contractually abated, 171. And that was the abatement process I just spoke about earlier in one of the slides. Conducted 129,970 inspections, and then 92% voluntary compliance, which is at or before the NOV stage, which is always our main goal, is to gain that voluntary compliance, to work with our residents, owners, occupants, to gain that voluntary compliance, to avoid the court process. That's always our main goal. So to be in the 90% is a good thing, and one that we always strive for. So resources and education that are available to the neighborhood services. We have a lot of resources available. They offer several resources to maintain properties. Tool lending, neighborhood college, graffiti busters, blight busters, hardship assistance, community assistance program. So the tool lending program is offered to residents and community groups for cleanup events at no charge. Any neighborhood group or block watch listed with the Neighborhood Services Department may receive paint and borrow supplies and cleanup tools to improve their neighborhood. To borrow equipment, get paint, or reserve a paint sprayer, sign up for the next training class, or reserve tools for a neighborhood cleanup. Tool trailers and tools available for loan include, it's a large assortment of tools that are available: paint rollers, wire brushes with scrapers, hose, weed eaters, shovels, gloves, paint sprayers, buckets, ladders, pole trimmers, brooms, water coolers, brushes, head shears, loppers, rakes, wheelbarrows, and garbage bags. The neighborhood college. So this presentation is actually being provided through the neighborhood college. Provides free training available to the community, just like I said, just like this presentation. It's a good resource. The graffiti busters, blight busters. Graffiti is costly, destructive, and sends a message that the community is not concerned about the appearance of its neighborhood. To help in the effort, the city created the Graffiti Busters program. The goals of the program support a zero-tolerance approach to graffiti in our neighborhoods, reduce the social and economic impact of graffiti on our neighborhoods, enhance the quality of life for residents by reducing blight, and to help keep the community and the city graffiti-free by filling out a graffiti permission slip. The Hardship Assistance Program, that is a program that provides up to $10,000 in the form of a deferred payment loan for improvements to correct exterior code violations. Homeowners who have received a notice of violation from the Neighborhood Services Department for one or more of the following conditions may be eligible for assistance. It needs to be one of these following conditions: seriously damaged roof, chipping, peeling paint, exterior surfaces in poor conditions. This is a special deferred payment forgivable loan that defers at a rate of 10% each year for 10 consecutive years, provided that you continue to own and occupy the home and maintain it to city code. The loan will be forgiven after 10 years. No interest or payments will be due unless the property is sold and or conveyed within the 10-year deferral period. The Hardship Assistance Program is available to Phoenix residents who own and occupy their homes, meet income guidelines, and have received a citation for an exterior code violation. Community Assistance Program. The Neighborhood Services Community Assistance Program helps financially or physically disadvantaged Phoenix property owners correct code violations at their homes by connecting them with community volunteer groups. Many code violations are exterior maintenance or safety issues like high, dry grass, weeds, dead trees, or excessive trash or debris on the property. Resolving damages keeps residents safe and neighborhoods beautiful. Volunteers are needed to lend a helping hand in neighborhoods throughout Phoenix. This is a one-time program, and so that is also one of the caveats of this program. To register or learn more about how you and your group can get involved, there is a number you can call, or you can reach out to the customer service line at 602-534-4444. So you're here tonight, you're wondering, how can you help? So you are the eyes and ears in the community and can help by reporting violations. You can assist neighbors in need and volunteer in cleanups. Strong communities working together to create positive change are essential for addressing larger societal challenges. Ways to report violations. So blight can be reported by using the My Phoenix 311 mobile app. On this screenshot, you'll see on this page, you'll see there's a screenshot of the mobile app. The My Phoenix 311 website, there's also a screenshot of that. By phone at 602-534-4444, and by email, which is blight@Phoenix.gov. You can choose to leave your contact information for feedback if you wish, or you can remain anonymous if you prefer. Okay, sorry about that. So now the page is on there? Okay.
I don't know if your screens look blurred, but mine looks blurred. There it goes. Yeah.
Okay.
Very good.
Okay, so hopefully you got that. The report violations. There's a couple of screenshots of the website and the My Phoenix 311 mobile app. There's also the email address and also the My Phoenix 311 website. Also, I said you can leave your contact information for feedback if you wish, or you can remain anonymous if you prefer. The choice is totally up to you. The important part is that you just report the violations so that we can address them. So case status updates online. This is a great tool if you're ever wondering about what is going on with a particular case. This database lists the property violations, the most recent inspection completed, and other pertinent information, like if a notice of violation or citation has been issued. It also lists the inspector name and the supervisor name on the case. You can search by address or case number. You can visit the website, or you can navigate the page by going to Phoenix.gov, departments, neighborhood services, code enforcement, and you can check the status of the case by punching in the address or the case number. Are there any questions? So much.
Thank you, Frank. We're going to open it up now. Anybody has a question, now is the time. We'll be best to answer anything that you have. Video presentation on our neighborhood college website. So if you have anybody who wasn't able to attend but wanted to, we're going to make it available. And then we will be offering it again, either live or WebEx, or maybe a combination like Candace does with her boot camp in the summer. We'll do it again probably in July. If there aren't any questions.
Well, there was one question about the hardship assistance
Okay,
program.
what are the income requirements for the hardship assistance?
So that's actually a question that would need to be answered by the hardship assistance folks. They actually have they actually ask for a lot of information, a lot of criteria that's needed. So that would actually, the first thing that would need to be qualified is that a violation actually there needs to be a violation at the property. Once and like I said, it says there, Let's go back to it here. So there actually needs to be one or more of the following conditions to be eligible for the assistance: a seriously damaged roof, chipping, peeling paint, exterior surfaces in poor condition. So once an NOV is issued for that, then on the NOV, there's information to contact the Neighborhood Services Department, which is the number 602-534-4444. And then they will go ahead and kind of start the process for that. They will direct you to that division, and then they'll start the process for that.
And then if I may, Frank, and Candace, to answer your question, we don't know exactly what that income threshold is, but we do know that the funds that are used for the hardship assistance program come from the Community Developed Block Launch Grant funds. Those are federal funds. You've probably heard them referred to as CDBG funds. So we know they are regulated by the federal government. We do have NSD staff who will, once the violation is issued and the resident requests assistance, we will send them to our rehabilitation division, and they will send out a community worker who will meet with the resident and go over all of the income threshold information. And what we can do is we can, Candace, I can send you that information tomorrow, okay? Once we have the correct information, because right now, I don't know what that income threshold amount is. I know it's based on household, how many are in the house, but I can send you that scale. Thank you. That was a good question.
It was. Thank you.
Anybody else before we close our session? We want to thank you so much for joining us. This was the first time that we did anything like this, and we are hoping to continue to offer training in this capacity where we bring in an expert like Frank Ramirez from different parts of the city, not only NSD, but I know we're going to have, if you look at our schedule, we have somebody in March, we're going to have somebody from the Public Works Department talk about their zero waste program. So be looking for those. We're going to have a program, a session on the gated alley program. I know that's a big topic right now. So we're going to have somebody from that program come and do a workshop. So we have, and then we're going to have somebody from planning and development talk about the zoning process. So we're kicking off the new year, and we're going to start with a number of these types of workshops. And so please give us some feedback in the chat. If there's anything you'd like us to bring forth, we can research and make it available to you all. Again, I just want to thank you so much, Frank. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you.
All right, we're going to go ahead and sign off then, and everybody have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.